Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to pick number one, my number one favorite vocalist of all time. Number one of 31, right? We've been putting them out there each and every day here this month, 31 days in August. Our 31 favorite singers across all genres. My number one, like, most of my top ones shouldn't be any surprise to anybody. My number one, he's still out there doing it. And while he's a hell of a lot older and, he's not quite what he used to be, you got to love his attitude about it and the fact that he gives it his all, regardless. And on the albums, he sounds pretty damn good, right? But this is a guy who I have, he's been my favorite singer for a long, long time. And I've gotten to see him live many, many times. I have pretty much everything he ever recorded for the most part, and just love him. I would love to meet him one of these days. Hopefully I will get to do that at some point. Let me bring to the stage the amazing Mr. Ian Gillan, of course, right? Ian Gillan, the legend, vocalist of Deep Purple, vocalist of Gillan, vocalist of Black Sabbath, lots of different solo records and other projects and things like that. Just, doesn't quite look like that anymore, right? I grabbed a very early shot of him. I believe this picture right here is from when he was fronting the Gillan band, if I'm not mistaken, from the early 80s. But, all the hair is gone, and he's obviously dresses a little bit different now, and he's much more the elder statesman of heavy rock, but Ian Gillan is still doing it to this day. And just so many classic performances and albums. And Ian is the guy for me. I still listen to so many things with Ian, and I'm just amazed at his vocal style because he is like so different, right? He was his own guy. He's one of the first, maybe along with Arthur Brown, to do that whole kind of like hard rock or proto metal, the kind of the confident singer with the big screams and all that sort of thing. I mean, he paved the way for guys like Rob Halford and whatnot, right? Of course. So and picking my three favorite albums with his vocals again, kind of hard, but not, right? Because there are certain albums where I think, all right, I love these albums, I love the songs, but Ian is one of the highlights for me for these albums. And I think the three that I picked here, that is the case, because again, I love the songs, love the albums, but it's one of these rare things where I may go to the singer as the highlight for me just as much as the guitar player or, that sort of thing. So of course I have to pick in rock for sure, right? I mean, Speed King and, Bloodsucker and Flight of the Rat, Into the Fire. I mean, just so good. Living Wreck, Hard Loving Man. I mean, we know all the classics that are on here. This is really the first time where the masses heard Ian Gillan. They were like, oh my God, who is that dude? Who is this guy, right? Just totally helped transform this band into, what they would be going forward. So I had to pick that. God, do I pick Fireball? Do I pick Machine Head? Who do we think we are? I was like, I could pick any of those. I wanted to kind of spread the love around a little bit. But again, I wanted to go with the albums where just Ian's performance just really, really stands out. And I had to go for my next choice. I had to go with Mr. Universe from the Gillan band. I mean, he's incredible on this, and I just couldn't. I mean, the title track alone. Second Sight, Secrets of the Dance, She Tears Me Down, so good. Roller, Puget Sound, Vengeance, he's just storming on that. Dead of Night, Fighting Man. This is prime. This is Ian Gillan in his prime right here. He still has everything at this point. And I think my number three pick is also him in his prime, but I think for my money, after this album, I don't know if he was ever quite the same again. It's mainly the tour, I think. I'm going to go with him on Black Sabbath, Born Again. This is one of my favorite albums featuring his vocals. I mean, it's to me, this album vocally approaches the In Rock album as far as like just Gillan doing that, like just the hard rock metal god, right? So we always call Halford that, but man, Ian Gillan, man, when he was on fire, he was on fire. He could do the kind of the quirky kind of fun stuff, and then he could just do the shrieking and everything like that. I mean, I love this album, always have, and I just absolutely love his vocal performance on here. I mean, he's so good on like Disturbing the Priest. The title track, to me, the title track Born Again is like the younger sibling of Child in Time. Just so good. You know, Hotline, Zero the Hero, Trash, just so good. You know, could pick like Perfect Stranger. I mean, he's a lot of great albums. Perfect Stranger is so good. Any of the more recent albums, you know, he sounds perfectly fine. But I wanted to go with the 3 albums that just like, I listen to them as much for Gillan as I do anything else. And I had to pick those. You know, there's other, like, you know, I think like for me, like Machine Head, I love his vocals on that album. But that to me, that's like a Blackmore and Lord album. You know, same thing kind of like with Fireball. Fireball to me, that's a Blackmore album. Perfect Strangers to me, I think it's just a overall, just that's an ensemble album. I don't think anybody really stands out. Maybe Blackmore a bit from the others, but some of these albums here are just like, man, just Gillan's just to me the driving force here. Although you could say Ian Rock is Blackmore and Lord as well, right? But Ian's vocals are just otherworldly on there. So, and as far as my favorite performance from him overall, I got to go with my gut. I got to go with one of my favorite tracks of all time. I have to go with Child in Time from In Rock. You know, he, like I said, how often have I said during this month where I like to pick guys or songs where the singer shows everything they got. I mean, on Child in Time, he does those kind of hushed melodic tones where he's just kind of telling that story, the emotions there. You can feel everything that he's saying, and then it builds in intensity, and then he starts with the screams, and it's just like, oh my God, who is this dude? Where did he come from? What planet did he come from? I have to pick Child in Time, right? There's probably other songs that maybe, you know, little more varied and where he's just doing like regular style singing as opposed to the quiet stuff and then the shrieking stuff. But I like that kind of like yin and yang that you get in Child in Time. It's just so amazing. So yeah, that's my favorite performance is Child in Time. And you could, as great as the studio version is, I think the Made in Japan version is just as good. And it's a little bit different. You get the obviously different Blackmore solo in it, right? Amazing. But yeah, I'm going to go with these 3, In Rock, Mr. Universe, and Born Again as my 3 favorite albums featuring the vocals of Ian Gillan. Could pick any others, right? Because they're all great. I love them all, right? But I had to make a decision on 3. So yeah, so that's my pick for today. That's my number 1. Let's bring him back to the stage. Mr. Ian Gillan is my choice for number 1. Let us know what you think of Ian down in the comments below, as well as your pick for number 1. And I think I owe you some honorable mentions here. So let's go through them real quick. And again, I didn't jot everybody down. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot that people are saying, well, I don't think Pete ever mentioned this person in their list all month, as well as the honorables. I mean, I could do an honorable mentions list that's like, you know, 500 singers wide. So the ones that I have down here, just the ones that kind of came to mind without just sitting there and doing a million honorable mentions. So the one that I think a lot of you were surprised at that I didn't pick this month, and he's probably number 32. He was in my initial list and he kept getting bumped out because I love him, but I just happen to like the people I picked a little bit more. Robert Plant, obviously from Led Zeppelin. I love vintage Robert, and like I said, he's a favorite for sure. I think I like 31 guys a little bit more, just a little bit. It's not by much, right? So Robert Plant's definitely up there. Phil Lynott from Thin Lizzy, absolutely. Bernie Shaw, current lead vocalist from Uriah Heep. I think I mentioned him when I talked about David Byron. I think Bernie's amazing. John Arch and Ray Alder, both formerly, current, although Fates Warning isn't really doing much anymore. But yeah, current and former lead singers of Fates Warning. I think both of those guys are great if you like progressive metal. Michael Ackerfeld from Opeth, certainly. I love his growls. I love his clean vocals. I think he's a great singer. Ralph Sheepers from Primal Fear, absolutely terrific. Great power metal band. Todd La Torre from Queensryche, right? I did include Jeff Tate. Todd is amazing. I love Todd. So good. Jorn Landy, great Norwegian hard rock singer, just so good. Joey Tempest from Europe. Love Joey's vocals. Jim Morrison from The Doors. Jim might not be like the most amazing gifted singer on the planet, but he had presence, and he had that it factor. I always loved Jim Morrison. What a great showman too. Mr. Derek Dick, otherwise known as Fesh, right? Former lead singer of Marillion. Steve Hogarth, current lead singer for Marillion. Got to mention him. Mick Jagger. I love Mick. You know, he's not quite a top 30 guy, but I love Mick. I think he's great. Dan McCafferty, the late, great Dan McCafferty from Nazareth. Great singer. Jay Buchanan, of course, from Rival Sons. Of the more recent crop of singers, he's one of the best. Andy Kuntz, great singer from the great German progressive metal band Van den Plas. Geddy Lee. I had to include Geddy Lee here. I always really liked Geddy's voice. You know, when I think when I did this a show on this like a number of years ago. I think he was in my top 25 or 30. The more I thought about it, I'm like, I love Geddy's vocals. But I wound up picking other guys over him, but I still really like him a lot. You know, Geddy's easily a top 40 guy for me, I think. Annie Haslam from Renaissance. Annie's got still to this day has a gorgeous voice. Just one of the great prog singers, but she could basically sing the phone book, right? Annie's just so great. Greg Raleigh, right? Formerly of Santana and Journey. I think Greg's got a great voice. Imagine what it would have been like if Steve Perry never joined Journey and Greg just sang for them till whenever, right? How interesting would that have been? Buck Dharma and Eric Bloom, both from Blue Oyster Cult. I like both of their voices quite a bit. You know, great singers. Mark Farner from Grand Funk Railroad, right? Great voice. Absolutely great voice. And that drummer, too, from Grand Funk. He's pretty damn good, too. Bon Scott. Very unique voice. Not a typical classic style singer, but Bon had that it factor. The late Jack Russell from Great White. Great singer. Johanna Sedanis from Lucifer. She's amazing. Love her. There's so many great, more recent singers, too. I just couldn't list them all. Gary Brooker, of course, from the late great singer from Procol Harum. And Jeff Lynne from ELO. And I'm going to kind of stop there. There's a million other ones, but like I said, just can't list everybody. So, but today my number one's all about, I'm going to bring him back one more time, Ian Gill, and there he is. Thanks for playing along each and every day this month, folks. We will be back at you tomorrow with my pick number 30 of my favorite guitar players of all time. So my 30 favorite guitarists. I still don't even have my list finalized. I'm going to be working on that today. I kind of do, but then I thought of a couple other guys, and I'm like, I got to get it on my list. Who am I going to swap them with? And I got to set all the albums and solos together. But it'll be ready. Number 30 will be ready for you tomorrow. So get your list ready. We're going to move on to guitar players. Same type of thing. 3 favorite albums featuring their guitar skills and our favorite song with the favorite guitar solo or a favorite guitar solo from that. If you want, if solos are too hard and you want to do your favorite riff from them, you can do that as well. It's flexible. You can do whatever you want. But that's starting tomorrow. So it's Guitar Month each and every day. And we'll see you then. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alerted of all of our content as a post. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below, we got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page where you can go and get yourself a Hudson Valley Squares t-shirt. I always like this one. This is one of our original ones, folks. When we first opened up the web store, you know, the merch store, this was one of the first shirts we ever had because at the time we weren't doing a lot of the panel shows yet. We had the Hudson Valley Squares and then me doing all sorts of everything else. So we had a handful of SOT shirts, and then this was our first like panel shirt. So yeah, this is an oldie but a goodie, a classic. So if you don't have this one, we got so this is like the original crew, right? So we got like Nick, myself, Steve, Lynn, Chris, and Ryan. The original Hudson Valley Squares lineup. So that was when we made the shirt. So that's going back like 4 years ago, at least. So long time ago. So yeah, so that's the merch is down below, link down below. Go check out all the stuff we got there. And we'll see you soon here with more stuff today. Let's see, what do we got? Tonight, don't miss the review crew. Jamie Laszlo, Scott Berry, Rick Labonte, and Ryan Scow will be bringing 2 each new albums reviewed for you. So that's coming up tonight. Do not miss that. And we'll see you tomorrow for ranking the albums of Corrosion of Conformity. Till then, I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you soon. Bye-bye.